Assalamu alaikum, dear viewers. This is Aisha Qureshi, and welcome to my channel Immersive English. Dear viewers, today we are going to study Robert Frost's most popular poem, The Road Not Taken, which was published in 1916. This poem is personally very close to my heart, not only because of its simplicity, but each of its words demonstrates skill of Frost's pen. As I mentioned in my previous video, that Robert Frost is one of the most critically acclaimed American poets of the 20th century, and if you are a high school or college student, you must have studied one of his poems in school. Let me tell you, The Road Not Taken is famous for being one of the most misunderstood and misinterpreted poems ever written. To make you understand it thoroughly, I will try to explain it on literal and figurative level. The title highlights a theme of the poem in which everyone at some stage of life comes across a situation where one has to make a choice. The title also hints that the poem is about lost opportunities and the complexities of choices. According to Frost, the poem was about his close friend Edward Thomas, who was his fellow writer. Before we get into the video, please like and subscribe my channel. Don't forget to click the bell icon so you never miss any of my videos. Here at your side is the poem The Road Not Taken. I will take the opportunity to read it and then summarize the poem in a short paragraph. Later on, I will explain its all four stanzas one by one. We will also analyze its literal and figurative meaning to understand it well. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both. And be one traveller long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth, then took the other as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear, though as for that the passing there had worn them really about the same. And both that morning equally lay in leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day, yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. Now, I will summarize the poem in easy words. There is a man in the woods in the fall of the year. There is a crossroad before him. He is worried that he has to finally make a decision to choose one road. He stands for a long time pondering which path to choose. He considered both paths and comes to the conclusion that both are equally well traveled. Eventually, he chooses one of those paths, assuring himself that one day he'll come back and explore the other one. Soon he realizes that he would probably not get a chance to get back to this path. The poet ends on a nostalgic note, thinking how different or better things would have been if he had chosen the other path. Now, viewers, let's review stanza number 1 thoroughly and discuss its literal and metaphorical meaning. As you can see, stanza number 1 is on your screens. The narrator, while traveling in the woods, reaches a diversion. There are two different paths, and he has to choose one out of them. He says that being one person, he can only travel on one road. So, he has to choose one out of these two roads. Here, yellow woods means a forest with leaves, which are wearing out and they have turned yellow, the season of autumn. It symbolizes a world full of people, and some are older than poet. Here, two roads are meant ways of life. The poet stands there pondering which path to choose. Both paths appear equally tempting. He wants to experience both of them, but humanly it's not possible. He stares down at one road, trying to analyze where it goes, but trees and greeneries of woods block his view. Viewers, let's take example of our own life. There are many phases in our life when we have choices and we have to choose only one of them. Like choosing the right career, selecting the most suitable workplaces. We all think about the pros and cons of all options and then choose the right one. Now, at your side is stanza number 2. Let's analyze it. Just at it is fair is an example of a simile, and wanted where is personification. So, dear viewers, the poet looks at both paths, analyze critically, make his own judgmentations, and chooses one path to continue his journey, as we all do. After making right decision, we move on to pursue our ambition. As I was discussing, the poet finally walks on his chosen path. He observes that both paths look like the same. That is why the poet uses the words and wanted where, which means the same. But after covering some distance, the poet realizes that both paths are similar and equally worn out. Viewers, in our life we choose any option, but all of them have same advantages and disadvantages, challenges, bounties, obstacles, and we must face them. We may think that we have made right decision, but it is only our misconception. Let's review stanza number 3. As I was saying, that after walking a few miles, the poet realizes that both paths appear the same. Then he looks back and reviews his decision. It seems both paths are not badly used. These lines are example of visual imagery, and next 3 lines of this stanza give the hint of his doubts. Then he honestly confesses to himself that life will not give him chance to travel this other road. He knows as he moves forward, he will continue to find another path which will take him further to his destination, and the urge to get to the point where he once stood on the crossroad was almost impossible. Again, I would relate the situation to our life, viewers. When we encounter choices in our life, we make hasty decisions based on what we learn from other people's experiences. These decisions shape our future. Now, at your side is stanza number 4. The first verse of this stanza I shall be telling this with a sigh, reflects poet's failure. The word sigh portrays poet's disappointment. He confesses that he did not take the right decision. Moving on, the poet showcases his regrets that the right decision could have landed him elsewhere in life, probably a better place or maybe even more disastrous one. Students, here the poet wants to give you a very strong message. You should be wise while making your decisions because your future depends on the choices that you make today. If we make wrong choice, we regret it but can not go back on it. Let's come to the themes of the poem. The main theme of the poem, The Road Not Taken, is that man is challenged by the choices he or she makes. The speaker describes himself as facing a choice between which of two roads to take. Through the speaker's experience, the poem explores the nature of choices and what it means to choose a path without much consideration. Another significant theme of the poem is fate. The actual conflict or argument arises when the speaker reaches at a crossroad. As the first verse says, two roads diverged in yellow wood. A high point in man's life when he or she finally chooses the most suitable option. The speaker then realizes between two options, trying to select the better one. The two roads are just as fair. The speaker carefully makes the choices, but soon realizes he might have made a mistake. According to the poet's fate, continuously push us forward, despite our attempt to make our own decisions. With this, we come to the end of the lesson. Viewers, I have made a humble effort to make this very meaningful and tricky poem easy. I would appreciate if you share your concerns and queries in the comment box. My students often ask me about the ways to improve our literary skills, and I reply them that there are no shortcuts. Spend some time in reading quality books. This will not only enrich your vocabulary skills, but give you ideas to write without difficulty. All the good writers are vivid readers. They are the ones who pull out a book to read even when there are a few minutes to spare. Dear viewers, these are the ones who think through in their minds the story they desire to write. I hope you all become the people like them. If you like the video, kindly click the like button. I leave with the hope that my little humble effort will ignite a fire in literary hearts. Stay blessed. Allah Hafiz.